Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. This is WireDogSec, back with another video for you guys. Today's video, we are in TryHackMe. This is the Cybersecurity 101 learning path. This is the Defensive Security Tooling module, and this is the REMnux Getting Started room. Learn how you can use the tools inside the REMnux VM. Hopefully you all having an awesome day today and ready to take a look at what this room has in store for us. Let's go ahead and dive into it. Task 1, Introduction. Analyzing potentially malicious software can be daunting, especially when this is part of an ongoing security incident. This analysis puts more pressure on the analyst. Most of the time, the results must be as accurate as possible. An analyst must use different tools, machines, and environments to achieve this. In this room, we will use the REMnux VM. The REMnux VM is specialized Linux distro. It already includes tools like Volatility, YAR, Wireshark, OLE dump, and inetsim. It also provides a sandbox-like environment for dissecting potentially malicious software without risking your primary system. It's your lab setup and ready to go without the hassle of manual installations. So learning objectives, explore the tools inside the REMnux VM, learn how to use the tools to analyze potentially malicious documents effectively, learn how to simulate a fake network to aid in the analysis, be familiar with the tools used to analyze memory forensics, room prerequisites. So basically, take a look at the CyberChef, the basics room, or check out my video on it. So when I hit complete there, continue on to task number 2 here. I've already started up the VM, but if you haven't, be sure to click this green button here where it says Start Machine. Okay, so it's started up. It says if the machine does not appear, click the show split screen. Please note that almost all of the files we will use in this room are located in the desktop task directory. So this one here. All right, so we're excited to learn about REMnux. Task number 3, file analysis. In this task, we will use OLE-dump.py to conduct static analysis on a potentially malicious Excel document. OLE-dump.py is a Python tool that analyzes OLE2 files, commonly called structured storage or compound file binary format. OLE stands for Object Linking and Embedding, a proprietary technology developed by Microsoft. OLE2 files are typically used to store multiple data types, such as documents, spreadsheets, and presentations, within a single file. This tool is handy for extracting and examining the contents of OLE2 files, making it a valuable resource for forensic analysis and malware detection. Let's start. Using the virtual machine attached to task 2, the REMnux VM, navigate to Home, Ubuntu Desktop Task, Agent Tesla directory. Our target file is named agenttesla.xlsm. Run the command ole-dump.py agenttesla.xlms. See the terminal below. All right, let's go ahead and do that. All right, so let's go ahead and open up this terminal. And we're going to cd into that directory. Okay, now if we do an ls on it, there it is. And now we're going to launch the ole-dump.py. So I'm going to hit Control C to copy, and then I'm going to paste this over here. Okay, now you can also use this here if you want to paste things, okay? Just letting y'all know. But let's get this out of the way. Hit Enter, and it should have similar output there, and we do. This is based on OLE-dump's file analysis. A VBA script might be embedded in the document and found inside XL VBA project.bin. Therefore, OLE-dump will assign this with an index of A. Though this can sometimes differ, the A index plus numbers are called data streams. Now we should be aware of the data stream with the capital letter M. This means there's a macro, and you might want to check out this data stream, VBA, this workbook. So let's check it out. Let's run the following command: ole-dump, then file name -s, and then 4. All right, and as we can see here, we're going to go ahead and run it. All right, so we have that .bin there, and we're going to enter, and there's a lot of stuff that came out here. So let me scroll up here. So they're going to break it down here. It says wherein -s parameter is short for select, and the number 4 as the data stream of interest is in the fourth place, so A4, which would be this one here. All right, so this is the one they're talking about. So we're targeting this data stream, all right, this workbook. Okay, and you can see other information here on the side. Let me see if I can make this bigger. So you see other stuff here on the side here, and let's see what they're talking about. View results. Yep, we got the same results. The results above are in hex dump format. There might be some familiar words from a trained eye. However, this is still challenging for us, don't you think? So let's make it more readable and easier to understand. We'll run an additional parameter, the dash dash VBA decompress, in addition to the previous command. When we use this parameter, only dump will automatically decompress any compressed VBA macros it finds into a more readable format, making it easier to analyze the contents of the macros. All right, so let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to go ahead and clear the screen. Okay, so we're going to tack that on like so. So we have at the end the 4, so we're going to hit dash dash and then this following parameter. Okay, there we go. Now this is way more readable. All right, so if you click view results here, similar output, now we don't need to be able to read the whole script, but rather familiarize ourselves with some characters and commands. Our interest here would be the value of sqt_new, because if you check the script, there is a public IP, a PDF, and a .exe inside. We might want to look into this further. So we should see something like this. Okay. And we see everything that they're talking about. All right. And if I move this over a little bit, you can see that here. Sqt_new equals et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. All right, so let me go back and make this bigger. And we see the URL in question, invoke web request. So this is very interesting here. It says we will copy the first value of sqt_new and paste it into CyberChef's input area. You can open a local copy of CyberChef inside REMnux VM or go to this link to access the online version. Use whichever works for you. You might want to check our room about CyberChef to get more familiar with the tool. Next, select the find replace option or operation twice. Looking back at the script, the second and third values of the sqt_new have a command to replace the star with double quotes and a caret with double quotes. We would assume that the double quotes means there's no value. So with our first operation selected, we put the value star and select simple string as additional parameters. All right, so let's go ahead and open this up. So let's go ahead and grab this first. So they copied everything down to here. So copy, and I'm going to minimize this, and then let's see. Let's go ahead and open Firefox. So I imagine that the local instance of CyberChef is in this Firefox somewhere, probably like a bookmark or something, and it's taking a while to launch. So let's go ahead and continue on. It says in contrast, we do not put anything on the replace box or have any value. The same process applies to our second operation. We put the value caret and select simple string, and the replace box has no value. See the image below. So let's see. Let's see here. This out of the way. All right. So let's go ahead and all right. Let me open up a new view full screen because this is going to be a lot of stuff to look at. It looks like. All right, so this is a little bit better. Let's go ahead and take out all this stuff, place it. All right, there we go. And let's get rid of this because we're going to follow along. All right, so now we need to do find and replace twice and then put a star and then that caret. So let's do that here. Find replace, find star. Okay, and then another one with the caret. So we're going to drag this over and then we're going to put this caret in there. Okay. Now we need to change this regex to simple string on both of these, like so. There we go. Now let's flip back over. So now this is more readable. However, for our starters, this can be challenging, so we will tackle the most basic commands here. So this is everything they're talking about here that we can see on our end as well. So let's break it down. In PowerShell, running the dash window style parameter allows you to control how the PowerShell window appears when executing a script or command. In this case, hidden means that the PowerShell window won't be visible to the user, which makes sense because we're going to do bad stuff, right? We don't want the user knowing that we're doing bad stuff on their machine. By default, PowerShell restricts script execution for security reasons. Now, this may also be used for legitimate purposes, right? Let's say you have a legitimate script running for your systems, and you don't want this to appear on the user screen to cause a disruption or to scare any of the users, right? They don't need to know that you're running some type of legitimate script, like maybe you're gathering information about the system and whatnot. But this can also be abused. As you can see, that the bad guys can abuse this. All right. So anyway, let's continue on. By default, PowerShell restricts script execution for security reasons. The dash execution policy parameter allows you to override this policy. The bypass means that the execution policy is temporarily ignored, allowing any script to run without restriction. The invoke web request is commonly used for downloading files from the internet. The dash URI specifies the URL of the web resource you want to retrieve. In our case, the script is downloading the resource doc dash etc pdf.exe from this following um, URL here. The dash output file specifies the local file where the downloaded content will be saved. In this case, the doc etc.exe will be saved in the $temp file. The start process is used to execute the download file that is stored in the $temp file after the web request. To summarize, when the document agenttesla.xlsm is open, a macro will run. The macro contains a VBA script. The script will run and will be running a PowerShell to download a file named this.exe from the following URL, save it to a variable $temp file, then execute or start running the file inside this variable, which is a binary or a .exe file. This is a usual technique used by threat actors to avoid early detection. Pretty nasty, right? Kudos to you for figuring it out. It's pretty neat here, learning how this can be used to determine what's inside of a macro, what it's doing, etc., etc. All right, so it's question time. Be sure to review these questions, try to answer themselves, then come back to the video, and we will continue on. All right, let's take a look here. What Python tool analyzes OLE2 files, commonly called structured storage or compound file binary format? Well, we know that's going to be OLE dump. So if you scroll back up here, this is the program they're talking about. So let's go back down here, paste this in, done. What tool parameter we used in this task allows you to select a particular data stream of the file we are using with it. So if you scroll back up here, they're talking about that specific parameter. It's going to be this dash S, right? You can use dash S, or you can use dash S or dash select for it. So dash S is what we're looking for here. During our analysis, we were able to decode a PowerShell script. What command is commonly used for downloading files from the internet? Remember, that's going to be the invoke web request right here, right? So that's going to be our answer here. And let's check this next one out. What file was being downloaded using the PowerShell script? And you can look at the breakdown here, or you can look at the output of what they're talking about here. But it's going to be this weird looking .exe file here. So that's the one they're looking for. Okay, paste that in there. It says during our analysis of the PowerShell script, we noted that a file would be downloaded. Where will the file be downloaded? Be stored? Well, that's going to be should be here in this $temp file after it's downloaded. So that should be the answer here. Because using the tool, scan another file name, possible underscore malicious doc is located in the same directory as this agent Tesla. How many data streams were present for this file? All right, so let's go ahead and copy this down, copy this over, and let's flip back over to the VM. Let's go ahead and minimize this. And where's our terminal? Let's see. Okay, we can just go up here and do it. Awesome. So let's clear this out. Oops, I need to put clear in. So ls, and there's our file there. So if we go back and do this here, we're going to replace agent Tesla Okay, so I'm going to paste that file in there, enter, and able to decompress. Okay, well, let's just do it this way. All right, and what are we looking for? How many data streams were presented for this file? All right, so let's take a look. Looks like there's 16 data streams, so that's going to be our answer. Using the tool, scan another file named the militia.doc. Okay, at what data stream number does the tool indicate a macro present? So let's take a look here. Hey everybody, just a quick little blurb here. As you can see here, most people that view my channel are not subscribers. If you're new here, please consider subscribing to the channel. If you're enjoying the video, please consider hitting the like button. It helps get me in the algorithm, helps spread the good word out there, helps bring more people and increase our glorious community here. All right, I'm all about helping out others. I know what it's like to come up in cybersecurity or even try to get into cybersecurity and not knowing where to look. I'm just having this channel up so I can help out other people. All right, that's all I got. Remember, if it has that M next to it, then that's has a macro. So number 8 has M, as you can see there. That should be our answer. And let's scroll back down here. 8. Okay. Task number 4, fake network to aid analysis. During dynamic analysis, it is essential to observe the behavior of potentially malicious software, especially its network activities. There are many approaches to this. We can create a whole infrastructure, a virtual environment with different core machines and more. Alternatively, there is a tool inside our REMnux VM called INetSim, Internet Services Simulation Suite. We will utilize INetSim's features to simulate a real network in this task, virtual machines. For this task, we will use 2 machines. The first is our REMnux machine, which is linked in the machine access task. The second VM is the attack box. To start the attack box, click the blue start attack box button at the top of the page. Do note that you can easily switch between boxes by clicking on them. See the highlighted box in the below image. So let's go ahead and fire this up. Start attack box. And let's see here. It says before we start, we must configure the tool INetSim inside our REMnux VM. Do not worry, this is a simple change of configuration. First, check the IP address assigned to your machine. This can be done using the command ifconfig or simply by checking the IP address after the Ubuntu at from the terminal. The IP address may vary. All right, so this is what they're talking about here, Ubuntu at IP address. Here's the machine IP. Take this note as we will need it. Next, we will change the INetSim configuration by running this command. So sudo nano in the following here. So let's go ahead and follow along. Let's go ahead and clear all this out. All right, there we have it. And we need to do something with the DNS. So, okay, so look at this value here. All right, it says remove the pound sign, then change the value of DNS underscore default IP from 0000 to the machine IPs. Yeah, identified earlier. In this case, it'll be this one here. So let's go ahead and do that. So we're going to copy and paste. All right, just to make things easier on my end, I'm using mousepad. So instead of sudo nano, I did sudo mousepad. Okay, I have mousepad pulled up, did a control F to find this particular area, found it, DNS default IP, plugged in my IP. Now I am going to hit control S to save it, or you can go to file and save, and then X. So we're done with that. Let's continue on. All right, so that's done. And it says confirm that the changes have been successful by checking the value of DNS default IP using the following command. So we're going to copy and paste, and it should look like this. Okay, so let's go ahead and paste this over. All right, it looks good to go. Okay. And it says finally run the command sudo inetsim to start the tool. All right. And I'm going to open this up in a new tab and do it this way. Okay, it looks like it's going to start up. Okay. Simulation running. All right, we got similar output. After running the command, ensure you see the sentence simulation running, which we did. It says ignore the failed error code. Okay, our fake network is now running. Let's move on to our attack box. On the attack box, navigate to REMnux IP address using this URL here. So with that attack box pulled up here, let's go to Firefox, pull this up. Okay, while that's running, let's go ahead and go back here. Okay, so once that's up and running, it says ignore the security risk, click advance, and then accept the risk and continue. Just once done, you should be directed to the iNet Sims homepage. Let's see if it's launched. Okay, sweet. Paste it in there, enter. There we go, advanced. Go down here, accept and continue. Bam. All right, so that's out of the way. Let's go back to this. This is one usual malware behavior is downloading another binary script. We will try to mimic this behavior by getting another file from iNetSim. We can do this via the CLI, which is the command line interface or browser, but let's use the CLI to make it more realistic. Use this command here. So we're doing sudo wget and then the URL here, no check certificate. So we should see something like this if it works properly. And we are going to um, yeah, okay. So let's go back to the REMnux machine. File this down and paste this over. There we go. All right, so it looks good to go here. So you can try downloading another file as well. For example, try downloading the second underscore payload.ps1 by using the following command here. So if we want to do that, let's go ahead and do it. And okay, same thing. All right, now we have both files. All these are fake files. Try to open the second payload PS1. When executed, this will direct you to the iNet Sims homepage. What we did here is mimic a malware's behavior, wherein it will try to reach out to a server or URL and then download a secondary file that may contain another malware. All right, connection report. Lastly, go back to the REMnux VM and stop the iNet Sim by default. It will create a report on its captured connections. This is usually saved in var log iNet Sim report directory. You should be able to see something like this. All right, so if we flip back here, let's go ahead and clear all this out. ls. There we go. So if they want us to try to open this, I guess we can use mousepad to do this. Payload.ps1. There we go. All right. So that's done. Clear all this out. And we need to. All right. So that part's done. And now we need to check out this report apparently. It says read the file using the command here. Okay. And before we do that, let's go back to iNet and we're going to hit Control C to stop it from running. Now it's done. Now we're going back into this tab here, paste. Okay, there we go. Now it's showing all the connections we just did by opening up that PowerShell file. All right. Okay, let's see here. These are the logs when the tool is running. We can see the connections made to the URL, the protocol, and the methods it's using. We can also see the fake file that was downloaded. Okay. Question time. Go ahead and try to answer these questions yourself, then come back to the video, and we will continue on. All right, let's take a look here. Download and scan the file name flag.txt from the terminal using the following command here. What's the flag? So this should be pretty simple. Let's go ahead and paste this in, delete that, and we need to turn this back on. Okay, it's running. Now let's try this again. There we go. Call this out, ls, and then cat flag.txt. There we go, and here's our flag. So let's go ahead and copy this and paste it into the answer box. It says after stopping the iNet sim, read the generated report. Based on the report, what URL method was used to get the flag.txt? All right, so we're gonna do the same thing we did earlier. Let's go ahead and kill this. Control C, and we're gonna up arrow to we got the cat report. Let's see. And let's see. Well, it doesn't really specify which report we're supposed to look at, right? Let's see here. Unless I missed that somewhere in the outputs, maybe? Yeah, there we go. 2893. So that's the one we're looking for here. 2893 dot text. There we go. And it says we need to, all right, so we need the URL method, which is going to be this get. We already saw that in here. Yeah, get. So that should be our answer. Got it. Task number 5, memory investigation, evidence pre-processing. One of the most common investigative practices in digital forensics is the pre-processing of evidence. This involves running tools and saving the results in text or JSON format. The analyst often relies on tools such as volatility when dealing with memory images as evidence. This tool is already installed in REMnux VM. Volatility commands are executed to identify and extract specific artifacts from memory images, and the resulting output can be saved to text files for further examination. Similarly, we can run a script involving the tool's different parameters to pre-process the acquired evidence faster, pre-processing with volatility. In this task, we'll use volatility 3 tool version, but just however, we won't go deep into the investigation and analysis part of the result. We could write a whole book about it. Instead, we want to be familiar with and get a feel of how the tool works. Run the command as instructed and wait for the results to show. Each plugin takes 2 to 3 minutes to show the output. Here are some of the parameters or plugins we will use. We will focus on Windows plugins. So hopefully it doesn't take this long, but if it does, I may just fast forward the video. So we're going to use these parameters here, or these plugins here. All right, let's get started. In your REMnux VM, use sudo su, and then navigate to this directory here. All right, so let's go ahead and do that. Back in REMnux, let's clear all this stuff out here. So we want to do sudo su, and then cd into this directory like so. Okay, and this our file will be this wcry.mem. I guess that's wannacry.mem. We will run each plugin after the command vol3-f and then the file. PS tree. This plugin lists processes in a tree based on their parent process ID. So they're doing this here, vol3-f.mem and windows.pstree.pstree. Okay, so we are going to copy and paste this like so. Hopefully this works. It said it takes a little bit to run, but we should get results like this here. Okay. Next one says command line. This plugin is used to list process command line arguments. So once again, I'm going to copy and paste, and then we should get results like this here. Let's check on our output. Okay, there we go. Sweet. So let's clear this out. And now let's do this one. All right. And flip back over. So we should see something like this. The next one's going to be file scan. All right. Looks good to go. File scan. All right. Now we get the gist of everything here. Okay. We're not going to go through all this in this video, but be sure to check this out on your own. Go through all these. All right. We'll probably have to use some of these to answer the questions below. But we get the gist of what's going on. This says this plugin scans for file objects in a particular Windows memory image. The scan results have more than 1,400 lines. The DLL list. This plugin lists the loaded modules in a particular Windows memory image due to a text limit. This one won't have a view results icon. PS scan. This plugin is used to scan for processes present in a particular Windows memory image. You can see the rest here. Malfind. For more information regarding other plugins, you can check out this link. Now you have the plugins running individually and seeing the results. What you will do now is process this in bulk. Remember, one of the investigative practices involves pre-processing evidence and saving the results to text files, right? The question is how. The answer, do a loop statement. See the command below. So take a look here. It says for plugin and those plugins that we just looked at earlier. Okay, semicolon, do this. So we're going to fire off volatility 3 Q F, et cetera, and then we're sending all that output into a file called list here, and it's done. So it's going to explain this, what I just explained, but let's break down the command. We create a variable named $plugin with values of each volatility plugin, then ran vol3 parameters -q, which means quiet mode or does not show the progress in the terminal, and -f, which means read from the memory capture. The plugin greater than dot done semicolon means run volatility with the plugins and output it to a file which wcry at the beginning of the text followed by the name of the plugins and the extension of .text. Repeat until the value of the variable $plugin is used. After running the command, you won't see any output from the terminal. You'll see files within the same directory you ran it. All right, and if you wanted to do that, you can go ahead and try it, but you're going to see something like this once it finishes. That seems pretty straightforward. Pre-processing with strings. Next, we will pre-process the memory image with the Linux strings utility. We will extract the ASCII 16-bit little Indian and 16-bit big Indian strings. See the command below. So strings and then the name of the file, sending it out to a text file to say the output there. So strings -e1 and -eb. Okay. The strings command extracts printable ASCII text. The -el option tells strings to extract 16-bit little Indian strings. The -eb option tells strings to extract 16-bit Indian strings. All three string formats can provide useful information about the system under investigation. You should have the same output, so something like this once you run everything. All right. Now this is ready for analysis, but remember our goal here is to, or in this task, is to pre-process evidence so that the analyst will investigate this and expedite searches and analysis. All right, so go ahead and try to answer these questions and then come back to the video. Let's take a look at these questions. What plugin lists processes in a tree based on their parent process ID? Well, that's going to be PS3 as we read above. What plugin is used to list all currently active processes in the machine? PS list is going to be our answer here. What Linux utility tool can extract ASCII 16-bit little Indian and 16-bit big Indian strings? Well, that's going to be strings. And then it says by running vol3 with the mal5 parameter, what is the first process identified suspected of having an injected code? So let's go back over here. And I went ahead and just ran everything here. So I did the for and it ran everything. So I copied and pasted that to get all of our files here that we're going to just cat to look at, right? Okay. So that's done. And also, if you want to do the little Indian, big Indian thing, then you could do it an easy way like this here. You can just use the double ampersand or double and symbols here, right? So just group those commands together instead of splitting them out. But let's go ahead and take a look here. So the first process here for mal find is going to be this csrss.exe file, and then the second one is going to be winlog.exe. Okay, so this should be our two answers here. So it's win logon.exe. By running vol3 with the DLL list parameter, what is the file path or directory of the binary at wanna-decryptor at .exe? So let's go ahead and take a look here. Let's scroll all the way down here, and we're going to cat that information here. Whoa, that's a lot. Okay, well, let's take a look here. Let's see if we can make this a lot easier to read. So I'm going to clear all this out, do cat file, and let's do a grep, and then we're going to grep on that particular information. Let's try this here. wanna-decryptor. Once you have your grep figured out, basically you're just going to copy and paste the at wanna-decryptor at.exe, hit enter, and then it will give you those results. So they want us to find the directory that it's in. So we're going to copy this, come back over, and Control V. There we go. Task number 6, conclusion. In this room, we had a hands-on introduction to the REMnux VM, where we could use tools like oledump.py for file analysis. We also created a fake network using inetsim and pre-processed a memory capture using volatility and strings. All these tools are included just inside the REMnux VM. Still, we haven't used any or used many of the tools yet, as we could create different rooms for each tool to learn about them and become familiar with them. On a side note, REMnux distro mainly focuses on analyzing potential malicious programs, documents or files from memory, and similar objects. Fantastic. Room is complete. Right, so REMnux is obviously a Linux distribution that's geared towards malware analysis, whether that be in static analysis or dynamic analysis. This could be something that is useful that you can come across in your career. There's also a course by TCM Security that will go over some tools like this. All right, and that's the Practical Malware Analysis and Triage course, the PMAT course. So I recommend checking that out. I believe they do have like the first 5 hours or something like that on YouTube that you can find to see if you're interested in. And then of course you can go out there and then purchase the certification if you want to go that route, and then you will get the course as well. So I recommend checking it out. It's awesome. The instructor is awesome as well. Explains things in clear detail, all that good stuff. Now, if you enjoyed the video, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. As always, I will see you later. Have a good one. For those of you that are interested in learning more about malware analysis, TCM Security has a certification for you, and it's called the Practical Malware Research Professional. So you have 5 full days to do the assessment and then 2 additional days to write a professional report. I'm not going to read through all this. I'll have the links in the description box so that you can review at your leisure, okay? And how to prepare for the exam, well, you're going to take the course they have for it. So let's click here and you will see what the course entails. So it's the Practical Malware Analysis and Triage course, all right? So here's the course overview. You can read through this yourself. Take a look at the syllabus here, all right? And also, you can take a look at some of these reviews here. This is my review right here. If you want to take a look at that video. And then also they have 5+ hours of this course on YouTube. All the links in the description box. Thank you again, and I will see you later.